Hey everybody, welcome into another exciting adventure of Redmage and Overwatch. Today I'm gonna show you a little bit about Hanamura, and more importantly, some good choke points to go into, kind of good setups for some of your characters, and where some not really hidden areas, but places where you can really change the direction of a game, especially if you're facing a lot of issues. So we're gonna basically play Widowmaker, just because she has a very high mobility, so we can get around the areas a little bit easier. So this is of course is the defender starting area. So there's not much to really talk about here, but we are going to go to where we would go for the defensive area to start with. So you'll just see me kind of run around this map. And of course you can see all the damage. If you didn't notice this before, all of this damage wasn't here in the beta. It was actually done just before Dragons, the animated short, had come out, where they talk about Genji and of course Hanzo's backstory a little bit there. You can see the dual dragons going on. So Hanamura has a really big storyline to it. So it's definitely worth watching that video and then kind of taking a look back at what's here. Now we're not playing with any bots or any other people here, just so it's a little bit easier to talk about. So this is where the attackers would be coming out. Of course, the central arcade here. You have the alleyway exit here, and of course the far side over here. The other side of the central arcade there. So what you really want to watch out for is if anything like a tracer kind of sneaks by here. A good way is to go down this alleyway here. The Black Widows, of course, can come up here. There's a lot of early access onto this right hand side, so you want to be very cautious of that. If you're coming out of here, there's really only one way to go. You can really only come out this way. There's no doorway here, so it's not like you can get out. You're kind of trapped going this way. So this is a little bit harder of an area to come out of. So if you are an attacker, a good thing to do is to kind of set up as a Black Widow, or I'm sorry, as a Widowmaker, and really try to kind of provide covering fire here, or at least being able to spot anybody that might be hiding inside the eatery here, or might be lurking around on that platform up there. As a defender, this kind of works out in your favor a little bit, because you can kind of sit here, you can eyeball who's going across to go into that back street there, who's coming out of the main arcade there, and of course anybody that runs around this corner is just instant dog food for you. You can just start shooting them all the way through if you want. Now, a big thing to worry about here is that if somebody does come over top of you and your teammates aren't calling it, they can easily drop in behind you here into this alleyway here, into this cul-de-sac area, because this is pretty open here. So you really want to watch out who is coming around and who's above you. Again, if you're a Widowmaker, this is a good place to plant a trap, just so you know if somebody's coming around this corner, and stick it on this wall here, so when they come around the corner, they don't really have a lot of time to see it. If you put it on this side or even on the stairs here, if they're smart, they'll come around here, and even if they come around this corner nice and tight, they'll still get hit by it there. So just be very cautious of that. So you want to, of course, as a defender, this gives you instant shooting gallery of people trying to get out of the main arcade there. If they have a Reinhardt, they'll probably get around that. So it's good to have a Farah, so she can go ahead and use her E to go ahead and kind of kick people out of the way, give you a little bit more of an open shot. You can also put somebody over here. This is another good location for a Widow or even a 76 to kind of hold off here. Again, you want to put your traps around here so you can get to, so you can know where people are. This is a really great place for a Junkrat, because Junkrat can bounce the grenades off this building. He can launch it directly into there. So this is a really good spot, and you have a really good escape plan right there. Now, that's if you really want to play a very aggressive defense. Otherwise, you really want to stay back, because there's no sense in fighting out here in the main alleyways and streets, because you're all eventually going to have to come back to one of 2 points. Either this big door or this little window. So if you have a Mei, the Mei can just wall that up till the dawn rises again. And this is a really good point because you can just set up traps. You can get a Symmetra to just throw down turrets. This is the place where you can just absolutely defend. You can shoot down the street here, and again, you can escape either through the back here to take out anybody that might get by you. You can run up the stairs, and again, you can drop this right there. So you can, if they start to come in on you, you can just back up and then kind of trick them into this. And of course, you do have the health potion right there. Now, if you are kind of forced back into the main garden area, Widows do really good up at the... That's not what I meant to do. Widows are really good up at the top here because, again, they can snipe when they're coming through the window. They can take out anybody that's coming up the stairs. And even here, if there's people inside the bell area, inside the defense area, they can take them out there. So just kind of watch that out there as well. So you want to be very careful of that. And again, the backside here, you don't need to worry about trying to defend all of this. You just need to worry about defending this one point right here. Again, a Mei can just throw up a wall and you're going to be good to go. No problem. That way, and then kind of force him to come along the back. And again, if you have a 76 or even a Widow, she can keep track of everything here because you can just throw down a Venom Mine right there, so anybody that comes off the top can go. You can also, have her up here, taking out these pop shots there, taking out people in the back, making the calls on where everybody's going. Because again, there's only two ways. There's two ways in. So a good shot caller should be able to stand up here and be pretty good to go. So just keep that in mind, that you don't necessarily have to defend the map. You just have to defend the choke points. And once you defend the choke points, you're pretty much square. That's what keeps everybody good. Now, the good thing is if this does tend to get a little overcrowded with bad guys, if you have a Mei on your team, her ultimate, her Blizzard is great in here because it's nice and centered. You can also, again, if you have a Reinhardt, you can go ahead and Earthshake this and knock everybody down. And this is just a really good area for something like that. It's also good for Tracer because she can get an easy stick on the mines. Torbjorn, he's good at the defense. You want to set up the turrets here and over here on the ledges just to kind of give you a little bit more of an angle. But inside that room, it's terrible. Do not set up your turrets in there because they're not going to have a lot of use unless they're physically in, unless all of the enemies are physically in there. So it's better to kind of keep these turrets outside if you're going to have one. But there's, Hanzo. If you have a Hanzo here, it's good because you can ricochet the arrows all through here. You can get good shots off here and there. And again, you can just throw the dragons right through there, and it's going to be very difficult to do. A good healer in this situation, Symmetra, yeah, you're going to have because, if you're on the defense, you're going to want to have the turrets lined up. But Lucio does really good in here because one, he can ride the walls very easily. And of course his area of effect heals, his area of effect speed, and of course his shielding ultimate is very, very good for that. So now we're just going to go ahead and move on to the to defending objective B. So if they manage to get past your defensive there, again, there's a lot of places to kind of get stuck and bogged down here. So you really don't want to defend this area too much because one, you've got an entrance here, you've got an entrance over here, and then there's of course the entrance along the side there that they can just sneak around behind you. So it's not really worth it to try to pick these fights here. Yeah, if you're falling back, yeah, you want to pop off a couple of shots as you make your way back here. You just want to kind of pull back into this area. And this is where you're going to see a lot of people just kind of make a last stand kind of a thing. Now, the problem with Hanamura as a defender is you have a lot of stuff that you've got to work, that you have to look at because there's a lot of entrances and exits into this little temple area. So you really got to watch out for this. So while you're standing here, a lot of times you'll see a Bastion be stuck over here. So he can cover, everything that comes in. They'll usually put him here so he can protect all three of these. You usually have a 76 or a Tracer or even a Widow to try to take out anybody that's coming over the tops or out of this side here. But then you also have, if you want to set up a Torbjorn turret right here, this gives you access to this. Anybody that runs across the front, anybody that comes along the top. There's a lot of places, again, to get bogged down. Because as an attacker, you can come up these stairs. You've got a good aerial of what's going on here. Again, you can just go ahead and poison and venom mine right there. So anybody that comes around that corner or even trap. Junkrat does really well up here because he can stay pretty far back and just kind of dump rounds down there. All right, so while you're defending up here, or even you can defend or attack from up here, but again, you really got to watch out if you're a defender. It's going to be very difficult for you to stay up here for too long because you're going to take a lot of fire from everywhere. There's a lot of points you got to worry about. Now, a good place for a defender to be, because you don't really see a whole lot of people on it, is this area over here. Because there's no real way to get up here unless you have some sort of scaling ability. So this is a good spot for you to be as a widow. You could even do it as a Junkrat, just because they have the better arsenal to kind of deal with it from this in this situation. Because again, as a Junkrat, you can just start throwing your regular bullets just everywhere. A widow, she has a little bit more maneuverability up here. She can do a lot more damage because she can cover right down this hallway here. She can cover down the front. She can snipe these things if you really want to at the lanterns, and she can provide a lot of coverage. So you just really got to be aware of that. So another thing to do as a defender, again, you want to make sure that you have a lot of traps set up. And one good point along the backside here of Hanamura is when you see people come across, you can trap right here. This is a really good spot. This is a great spot for a Junkrat, by the way, or even a Lucio. Because as a Junkrat, you can lay your trap here, and then you can go ahead and you can position your mine right there. So as soon as you see that your trap is sprung, because somebody's come over here with, say, a Tracer or a Pharah, and they landed a little light, or even a Widow, that bam, you can go ahead and blow your mine, because they're going to be looking this way, and then once they're trapped, this will explode and knock them right over the side. So little bit of fun. And of course, as a Lucio, you can be over here. You can be popping things off here. You can wait till people come around and then bam, hit them with your right click and just throw them right off the side. So as an attacker, now let's go from the attacker standpoint. Again, coming over here is really good. You can get over here, with anything that has a good running distance. You can get over here with Junkrat. You can get over here with the Widow. You can get over here with Diva. You can get over here with a lot of people. This window, of course, leads right out here. This is a great place to crawl up if you're Genji or Hanzo. You can get up here. You have a very wide area of attack. Now, again, you don't want to be standing here being like, I got you, Bastion, or sitting over there, or Torbjorn, because there's always going to be somebody else around here to kind of get you. So you want to stay back a little bit. You want to kind of pick your shots and kind of narrow your field a little bit more, just so you can kind of just work on this side. Again, this is a good place for you to trap if you think that you're going to get ganked from the side. And again, a good shot caller will position themselves in such a way that they can get a lot of good vision here. Again, this is where you would probably take out a Torbjorn or Bastion sitting there. You might have a Hanzo standing back there. You might even have another Widow. But you want to make sure that you're picking and choosing where you want to go. Pop off your shots, reload and cover. And then again, this is where you want to just watch out over here in case they have somebody standing up there. So just keep that pressure on. Now, if you're coming from, again, you can come out of here from this backside here, and then let's say you wanted to come up from underneath of them. Okay, you boom, 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 you throw the cover down. Now you're going to go ahead and you're going to move down here through the bottom. Now you have a little bit better of a spot. Now, again, this is where a Junkrat would do really, really well, because you can just boom, 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 lobbing the grenades up there, blah, 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 creating some space, and then you can throw it on your mine and come in over top of them, and then just start throwing down the trap, throwing down a lot of damage, and then you can come in here and start to take this objective. Now the big thing here is the objective is basically where this mat is. So you've got to kind of stay in this kill box where you've got all of this attack coming out of, and of course the attackers are spawning, or the defenders are spawning out of both of those sides. So again, a Mei, boom, throw a Mei up there, and you'll be good to go. So there you go. There's your tip right there on how to play on Hanamura. Defending, attacking, it's all about your team composition. Highly recommend having you some widows, and of course I'm going to get play of the game. But have yourself some widows, have yourself a Mei, definitely a Junkrat, a Hanzo, and a Bastion if you really want to have a good solid defense here inside Objective A and Objective B. As an attacker, you really want something that you can have high mobility, that you can also have a lot of really good damage interception. So Reinhardt's shield, you want to be able to use Diva's shield and reflection. Winston does really well here as well. When it comes to some of the other ones like Roadhog, that he's a little rough at the beginning because it's hard for him to get those snaps, especially if they're defending further back and they're not in those main streets. Now, when you get inside the actual temple at Hanamura, it becomes quite a bit easier. So definitely, look at that. But choose high, just choose high mobility targets like Reaper. Does really well, especially when you're going to Objective B, because he can move around a little bit more. You've got people, and his Death Blossom works out really well when you're trying to maintain that objective there in the middle. That's also where Winston does well. So does Zara. So just really pay attention to things like that. So hopefully this video was entertaining. Don't forget to follow Overwatch Core right here on YouTube, and of course follow them on Twitter at Overwatch Core, CORPS. Thank you very much. Again, my name is Redmage, recording this from the Gosu Network Studios. Have a great day.